Today, we're going to talk about a city that was a true beacon of knowledge for the ancient world. A place where massive empires clashed and brilliant minds were born. A city that incredibly was lost for more than 1,000 years. We're talking about Taxila. So, what you're looking at here are the ruins of the great Dharmarajika Stupa. And it's so much more than just ancient stone, right? It's a silent witness to a civilization that absolutely thrived here. A center of learning that shaped the world in ways we're really still just starting to understand. For over 1,300 years, this entire city just vanished. Its story was literally buried under layers of dirt and time. So, what exactly was this place, and why was it so important that empire after empire fought to control it? Well, let's dig in. Okay, our journey starts by putting this lost city back on the map and getting a handle on its very foundations. First things first, where in the world are we? Taxila is in modern-day Pakistan, just a pretty short drive northwest of the capital, Islamabad. It sits on this high plateau that's been a major historical corridor for, well, countless generations. So, Taxila was founded way back, around 1000 BCE. But its real power, its secret sauce, was its location. It sat right at this critical crossroads between the Indian subcontinent and Central Asia. Now, this made it an incredible melting pot of cultures and ideas. But it also painted a giant target on its back for the world's most powerful empires. And because of that strategic position, for centuries, Taxila was basically in the crosshairs of one conquering empire after another.
The sheer pace of change here was just relentless. I mean, look at this parade of empires. First, you've got the Persians under Darius the Great. Then it surrenders to Alexander the Great. After that, it gets absorbed into the Mauryan Empire, then taken by Indo-Greeks, then Indo-Scythians, and finally, the Kushans. This wasn't just a city, it was like a revolving door of ancient superpowers, and every single one of them wanted control of this vital hub. You know, these maps really paint the picture of this geopolitical drama. On the left, you can see the huge Persian Empire pushing east. Then, check out the map on the right. A couple centuries later, Alexander the Great's campaign is sweeping through that exact same territory. And what's right in the middle of it all? Taxila. It was the linchpin in this epic clash between East and West. But here's the really interesting part. Despite all these conquests, the city thrived. It seems like one empire after another figured out that Taxila was way more valuable standing than as a pile of rubble. When Alexander's forces showed up, his own historians described a city that was, and I quote, wealthy, prosperous, and well-governed. It wasn't just getting by, it was flourishing. But Taxila's greatest legacy, the thing it's most famous for, that wasn't forged on the battlefield. It was forged in the minds of its scholars. And this is where the story gets truly fascinating. Now, scholars kind of debate whether you can call it a university in our modern sense of the word, but there's absolutely no question that Taxila was one of the most important centers for higher learning anywhere in the ancient world. Students would travel for hundreds, even thousands of miles from all over just for a chance to study here. So, what could you study at Taxila? Well, the curriculum was incredibly diverse. They had a law school, a medical school, you could study military science, archery, hunting, and they even taught some pretty specialized subjects, like, get this, elephant lore. Yeah, you heard that right, the study of elephants. This place wasn't just a school. It was a magnet for some of the most influential minds of antiquity. I'm talking Chanakya, the master strategist who basically built the Mauryan Empire. He taught here. Panini, the legendary grammarian who literally wrote the rules for classical Sanskrit, he was part of this community. Charaka, a founder of Ayurvedic medicine, and Jivaka, the Buddha's own personal doctor. They both studied here. This was a city of absolute giants. And their whole philosophy of education was just radically different from what we're used to. It was all one-on-one instruction with a master, not huge lecture halls. There were no final exams or degrees. Your studies were just over when your teacher decided you'd mastered the material. Knowledge was seen as sacred, not something you pay tuition for. It really makes you think about our modern system, with its focus on exams and deadlines, and wonder what we might be missing from this ancient approach. But, you know, like all great ancient centers, Taxila's golden age came to a pretty violent end. So how did a city so famous, so powerful, just disappear? Well, the fall happened in stages.
First, the city got weakened by wave after wave of invasions. Then, around 470 CE, it was absolutely devastated by the White Huns. They destroyed its famous monasteries, its centers of learning, and when the great trade routes, the city's lifeblood, finally collapsed, the city was simply abandoned, left to ruin. For more than 13 centuries, Taxila was a ghost story, its location lost to time. But then, in 1863, a British archaeologist named Alexander Cunningham, using ancient accounts from Chinese pilgrims as his guide, meticulously surveyed the area. And he found it. After 1,300 years, the lost city was found.
And what a discovery it was. I mean, archaeologists didn't just find one city. They found multiple layers of urban history. These incredible, sprawling ruins are from the city of Sirkap. And that's just one of several settlements built right on top of each other over centuries. It's like a physical timeline brought back into the light.
So why does this ancient city still matter to us today? What's its legacy here in the 21st century?
Well, in 1980, its global importance was made official when UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site. And the reason they gave is that its ruins, and I'm quoting UNESCO here, uniquely reveal the pattern of urban evolution on the Indian subcontinent for more than 500 years.
And after years of being relatively quiet, Taxila is seeing this incredible resurgence. As you can see from this chart, it's now attracting up to 1 million visitors every year. But this is about more than just tourism. It's about a nation reconnecting with a really vital piece of its incredibly deep history. This comeback is really being fueled by some major preservation efforts. Sites just like this one, the beautiful Jolian Monastery, are now being protected. It ensures that the story of this incredible place, a story of conquest, knowledge, and rediscovery, can be told for generations to come. In the end, the story of Taxila is such a powerful reminder that even the greatest centers of culture and learning can be fragile. It shows us that knowledge can be lost in an instant, but that with effort, it can also be found again. Which leaves us with one last question to think about. What can the story of a lost city of ideas teach us in our own turbulent times?